Hey guys, thank you so much for listening. So today's guest, um, he needs no introduction. He's so awesome. My guest is Ron Jones, Ronnie. I met Ronnie in DC during the around like October 25th, I believe. And I met him after this concert called Let Us Worship with Sean Feucht. And a group of us had gone to DC to pray and just pray for the country, pray for the nation. I went to go as an intercessor. An intercessor is someone who prays on behalf of people. Sometimes it's to pray for people to repent or whatever, but I like to think of it as a way of sort of like praying for people who don't know how to pray yet for themselves, or pray for situations that I want to see change and I don't see it yet, but I pray for it. So like I intercede and like ask God on behalf, as just like a person that has a relationship with God. But one of the things that I was really praying for when I went to DC was to meet, just to meet people of diverse backgrounds, people of color who were thinking about this political season and who also were thinking about conservatism. And I had been thinking about it. There is going to be an episode coming out where I'm going to share about my political journey and where I've come from. I've been like on the radical left, and now I'm thinking a little more conservative. It's really interesting. It's an interesting journey that I'm on. And I met Ronnie, and I was just amazed and blown away at this amazing man. We ended up praying together and just sharing life together, and we met in a restaurant. And then so I hope you enjoy this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, Ronnie Jones. Everyone, this is Ronnie. Ronnie, why don't you introduce yourself?
What's going on, everybody? I'm Ron.
Yeah.
Call me Ron J. Ronnie. From Silver Spring, Maryland. And I'm here with JP.
Nice. Yeah, man. So like earlier our phones like cut out and stuff. So just like update everybody. But basically, like, yeah, it was just been on this journey. And so Who Dares Wins has been about facing fear and having people on, or me just giving monologues about my own personal journey with God, with politics, with life, with justice, with everything. A few episodes ago, they're kind of sporadic, but a few episodes ago, because there's actually a lot of work that goes into doing a podcast, like getting the right research, making sure I know what I'm talking about, these kinds of things. And then life is happening. So it really is like a step out there,
Yeah.
And, but back in May, I was having guests on because I was so like, hey, like this is the moment, like Christians wake up, like Black Lives Matter. Right. And then, so I had guests on to talk about that and to talk about these opposing views. And I even had friends on that would sort of identify as anti-authoritarian and expressing their ideas. And then I had some that are doing work in the community. And I just felt like the more guests I had on, the more I felt like, wow, no one feels like the exact same, right?
Never.
So in May, honestly, like, man, I couldn't stand Candace Owens. And then about a month ago or 2 months ago, I started really getting outside of my emotions when she talks. And I started looking up what she was saying. And when I started looking up what she was saying, and I started looking up Thomas Sowell and all these different things, I started to really think like, man, all right, I still believe in racial justice and these different kinds of things. I think racism is real. I was like, but I don't think I've ever really taken the time to really search out these other options, these other facts. And like, I started to pursue going into business and learning about business in about 2016. 2017, God started talking to me about podcasts and stuff like that. And then 2018, the end of 2018, I started it, and it's been sort of like this kind of interesting journey. And so when I met you, I was really in this place of like, God, like, man, I'm changing,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know how to share that with people. I don't know how to talk about that with people, because people are quick to cancel you.
People are sensitive, man.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, man. So that's just a little bit, and then I met you, and it was just such an awesome experience. And then we kept in touch, and I was just like, man, people need to hear your story, and I think this is a great way for me to transition into. I've been looking up the walking away thing, and I don't know if I'm back in that, but I think this is a good opportunity for what I'm thinking is for left people to think a little more right, and for white people to think a little more left, meaning like to just try and hear each other out, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, and I love guys on both sides, that and women and people that can talk about the situation, but I feel like I offer like a more like I want to tell truth, but I want to be sensitive to people, because I'm a pastor and I care about that, and so I just care about people's hearts, man. I care
Yeah,
about like, let's get together, let's put the game on, but we'll ignore the game and let's just talk. You know what I mean?
that is true.
And I think that that's like really beautiful. And so anyway, why don't you just share a little bit about your background, and then we'll just start going right into it. How's that sound?
My background. So, I mean, give me a little bit more specific on what you want to know about
Okay.
my back, because that's a pretty like I could
Oh,
talk for
okay.
hours.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I guess like what I was thinking is like, where you were from, because we talked about it on the other part, but then it got cut off. So just like where you're from, maybe a little bit about because we're gonna go into like the story of how we met, and like
Hmm.
what you shared in the car, and so maybe just like specifically that, like where you're from, um kind of the whole like wildness of like maybe like where you used to think, and like how you're thinking now, and just like how maybe like where you're from, uh what you do, and just like stuff like that, like real basic stuff, like
I got you.
you know
I got you. So pretty much, I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland. If anybody don't know where that is, it's in the DMV area. So most people come out to DC and they think that that's it, but it's DC, it's Maryland, it's Virginia. There's a bus, there's a train that connects to all of those places. So
yeah.
you might see me in Virginia, you might see me in DC, but where I was born and raised was Maryland, Silver Spring to be exact. We call that Mo County, Montgomery County, uh,
Nice.
just to be specific. And I'm 28 right now, and I'm just out here just trying to, uh, let's say, I want my voice to be heard.
Mm.
And the only way for me to do that is by showing action. You know what I'm saying? I have to actually go out there and put myself out there in order for people to, to hear me. I'm a huge person on homeless people. I don't know why, but ever
Wow.
since I was a kid, I've always been the person to like give my last to people who I felt like didn't have it. So now that I'm older, I'm the guy that's out in the city like making sandwiches for homeless people, saying giving jackets to homeless people, passing out waters, apples and stuff to homeless people. Like I'm
Wow.
pretty popular in the homeless community.
Nice.
They
Nice.
know me. So
Wow.
and I don't say that to brag or anything, but I just want people to know like how my heart works, like, and I don't know. That's pretty much I'm also an SGI Buddhist. That's a huge thing that.
Yeah, break that down. What's that?
So SGI Buddhist, well, it's Nietzschean Buddhism. I know everyone knows about what Buddhism is, Buddhist monks and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
SGI, we're more like the modern day Buddhists. So we don't walk around in monks, and we don't, sit outside in the rainforest and with our feet crossed and pray. We don't do stuff like that. But we do
Mm.
chant. We do chant every day, morning and night. And when we chant, we're pretty much chanting to a scroll, and it's called a gohonzen, and
Mm.
it's inside of a butsudan. I know you guys don't know what that is, but
Yeah, bro. Break it down, bro. That's interesting.
okay, so the scroll is pretty much Japanese scriptures, and this whole practice is all about peace and finding inner happiness. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it's all about in human revolution. We're all
Wow.
about having empathy for people. We're all about understanding people. No judgment. We don't judge people at all. Uh, when you're dealing with a Buddhist, when you're talking to a Buddhist, you're talking to someone who has mentally, spiritually, physically found that peace in their life where, and I'm not saying that they don't get upset or things don't bother them, because they do, but we have like a higher understanding of where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't like I'm not gonna get mad at someone and then be like, you know what, you're this and you're a piece of this, and I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna get mad, but I'm gonna understand, you know what, you did this to me, it had to be because you were in a lower level, or you
Wow.
did this to me because you were in a higher level. You know what I'm saying? Higher is good. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
just all about peace. I'm all about helping people, and that's what Buddhism is really all about. Just to make it pretty basic. And we chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. I don't know if anyone in here is familiar with Tina Turner,
Mm.
but she was an SGI Buddhist.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So just what was it? Just a few days ago, it was our 90th anniversary.
Yeah, it says it started in 1975.
Yeah.
But wow. But that's longer than that. 90th anniversary.
Yeah, it's okay
Wow.
because it's like SG. Okay, so it's Buddhism. Nichiren Buddhism has been for a long time, but the
Mm.
SGI is more. It's I don't want to say it's new, but it's
Like
I've
reformed, maybe?
yeah. It's
Okay.
pretty. It's still
Contemporary.
growing. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
And
Wow. Yeah, it
yeah,
says there's 1.5 million people who
yeah,
reside outside of Japan since
yeah. I know.
2012.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people. So a lot of people try to call my religion a cult,
Aha. Okay.
and I don't appreciate that. But
Mm.
I do understand that it's not like Christianity or Catholic or stuff like that. Although we share a lot of the same views,
Mm.
believe it or not. But
Mm.
yeah, some people call it a cult, but I'm here to tell you that it's not a cult at all. This is something real, and it's changing people's lives. Like,
Mm. Wow. Yeah, man. Well, I really appreciate you sharing that. I'm a Christian, but I've spent years, um, um, asking the questions, learning about different expressions of Christianity, theology. I have a master's degree in divinity, or like master of divinity. I want to say it right. But I've always been more of like I just seeking God, man. I like love Jesus. I love what he did in my life. I love how he changed my life. How I was a hooligan, bro,
ooh,
and
you
he
telling?
and you know what I'm saying? And like he just, man, he pleased me. He put love in my heart. Another reason why the podcast started is because growing up, I never thought I had anything worth talking about. I had feelings and pain in my heart, but I never was like, I was that kid in the corner listening to Nirvana who like cuts himself. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so like for God to save me and then give me a voice, and now we're in this timeline, and I'm 42, and I have a lot of people around me, and I've always had this because I was in the punk scene, and I like hip hop, and I'm into hardcore music, and so I had younger people around me, and God just started saying to me like, bro, like you have wisdom, you have experience, share it. And so not in a boastful way, but in a sense of saying like, man, a lot of Christians, a lot of religious folk don't have any perspective outside of their comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
their like bubble of philosophy or ideas and or religion. And and what I have found is that in my times of being like a radical or an activist and stuff like that, and 10 years of searching out Christianity, like, yo, what's good with Christopher Columbus? What's good with this? You know, what's good with slavery? Like, they said it was Christian, you know? And and learning that process, and then thinking about Jesus. And in 2016, I had this massive shift that happened where my marriage was ending, and I was getting divorced, and I was
Dang.
really, really depressed.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I'm tired of suffering. Like, I tried to do a relationship, all this stuff. And, and we were together for like 10 years. And,
Those be the worst.
yeah, bro. So, but it was, I don't know if amicable is the right word, but like there was no lawyers involved. Like it was like, yo, like I wasn't a good dude. Like, you know what I mean? It just, we should have stayed best friends. We shouldn't have got married. You know what I mean? And, but it was still very hard because it was like, I never knew, oh my God, like there's no way to prepare for like the level of like shift, like everything. Now you're on your own. Now it's like you gotta, find out how to make that money again, and like all this stuff, your diet, everything, like where I'm gonna live. You know, my friends, like we have like 300 in common friends. You know what I mean? 500, and so it was just like crazy, right? And so I got
Mm-hmm.
really dark. I got really depressed, and I tried to go on a date with this Christian girl. She said I was Satan because we started making out or whatever. And then I was
She's
like,
wait.
yeah,
She
yeah,
told you that you were
yeah, because
Satan.
yeah, because you know what I mean? Like I felt like she was saying like, I put her in a temptation kind of place, But
Oh
we
man.
were both drinking, you know what I mean? And like I'm not like on fire for the Lord at that time. I'm going through a divorce. Like I'm like, I'm like, I love you, God, but like, I'm in theology. I'm listening to Bruce Springsteen, listening
She
to rap,
she felt a
and I'm
certain type
drinking
of way.
whiskey. She felt a certain type of way, but at the same time too, like in all fairness,
Yeah.
I was going through my process, and honestly, I should have just been going through my process with myself.
Right.
But so you know what I mean, and everyone has their own stuff that they're going through and that they're bringing into a situation. And so anyway, long story short, I was depressed. I was suicidal. I was gonna commit suicide, and but I had to speak because after that date, I guess I like lost my phone. I got mad drunk. I went to another bar after I dropped her off. I went to another bar, got destroyed till like 8 in the morning. And I was like, what am I going to do with my life? Like, I'm no pastor. I'm nothing. Right. And, but I had to speak on environmental justice in the Bronx.
Wow.
So I was like, yo, let me get on my messenger and try to tell the people
That
like
you can't go, right?
right, that I can't go. And they're like, no, 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 you can still come. I'm like, okay, I'll just meet you at this time. I'm hungover, but I'm passionate about, the faith sector and justice, And so I go up there, I talk to them about environmental justice, about how it's important to fight for the waterfronts in the Bronx, that like the local people need to have a say in what happens to their communities. This is racist, blah blah blah, right? And and I leave, and I'm like, dang, I really enjoy speaking to people.
Yeah.
I really enjoy this. And so I called my friend. I used my friend's phone. I said, hey man, I just got done speaking. It was awesome, but actually the next thing on my schedule is I'm supposed to like kill myself. I'm really in a bad place. And he was like,
That's tight.
get on the train, come here, we're gonna talk. And like basically I found out one of my favorite musicians committed suicide that same weekend.
Who?
And his name is Eric Peterson. He's a anarchist folk singer from Philly, and just like a white dude from Philly.
I'm listen, I'm so sorry to hear that. Like
Yeah,
artists, music is like, I don't mean to cut you off, but just music real quick is like it's like a piece of my soul. Music is my mirror. Like I listen to music to see myself sometimes.
Yeah.
And if one of my favorite artists committed suicide, bro, yo,
It
I,
was a real wake up call. Like it was a real wake up. And I felt like my friend said to me, he's on actually another episode, and he said to me, "Man, you're like one of the only people that still believes in this after the years." And like you need to do whatever you need to do. Go to a church, go to some evangelical church, do whatever you got to do. And like when I got back to New York that Monday, I went looking for a church that I could go to um around the time that I got to go to work. And there was this church called Hillsong, and it met like 5 times a day, 7 times on a Sunday, something crazy. And it was in a bar, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is what Christians are doing now, trying to be cool." But I went, and you know what I'm saying? Like I
funny.
went, and I was like, "Oh, I've seen this before." Like I grew up in church, so I was like, "I've seen this before. This is their angle." And I swear, man, like, God met me there. God met me there, and He started this transformation in my heart. And this is a real beautiful healing that has been taking place since May 2016. And so that's that's what got me here is that like, we're on this journey, and I realized that I would sacrifice parts of myself to be in a group this year. And I was like, you know what? Like, man, I actually care about other people's ways of life and what they believe. And
Hmm.
I believe in Jesus, but like that is a personal relationship that has to, you know what I mean? Like that's a
Yes.
revelation you have to come to. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I can just continue to share my hope and strength with you and what Jesus has done for me. But at the end of the day, it's like, no, like we got to be human together
Yes.
because Jesus said, and I would say all the major Abrahamic traditions and Buddhism and all this thing, they'll know that we love each other. They'll know that we actually believe what we believe by the way we treat each other, you
Yep.
know? And so
Something that
yeah.
something that I like to say, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Buddhist, so I like to say that I'm like you all's cousin. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I
Wow.
we'll still come spend Christmas together. We'll still come spend all the holidays together because in my religion, when I chant, I'm chanting for peace around the world, yes, but I'm also chanting for myself. And it's
Mm.
a personal relationship that I have with my Gohonzon. And it really doesn't have anything to do with anyone. So I don't go around saying, oh, well, you're not a Buddhist, so I can't talk to you, or you don't believe in this, so I can't talk to you. I don't do that. As long as you are seeking like a higher power of self, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's through God or whatever it is, Jesus, whatever it is, I can stand next to you. Like, even like the other night, me, you, and another person, we all prayed together. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I I like this year I've been hanging with a lot of Christians, and I
Mm.
prefer it to be that way because you all are like on the same level as me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
we want more for not only ourselves but for the people around us, for the universe. So
Wow.
it's the people who don't have religion at all that I really really chant for.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's something about it for sure, for sure. Yeah, man. So, speaking on that, that's dope. So now I'd like to transition into like sort of like how we met, and
Yeah.
so I'll let you go, and then I'll like because I want to hear your perspective, and then I'll share my 2 cents.
So my perspective on the group of people that I served. So quick little backstory. When I got that job, I think that was like my first or second day working there.
Mm,
And it was a whole lot of politics stuff going on in the city. So it was a whole bunch of people coming to the restaurant. And I think I was working all day that day. Actually, it was my second day working there, now that I remember. Because I was working all day. And I get this group of people. I see this one guy with a whole bunch of tattoos. I see these girls, they looking pretty nice, you know what I'm saying? I see this one guy with a big COVID suit on, and I'm like, yo, like, I personally, I'm weird, okay? I'm a weird person. Once you see me, get to know me, I'm weird. So when I saw you all, I was automatically like drawn to y'all energy because it was like these are the type of people that I would hang out with, and that's just off the look first. I didn't even hear you guys speak yet.
Yeah.
And it's just the energy that you all were giving me. It was like I've known you guys for years. I don't know why. It was just like you all were just very kind people, and coming from where I'm coming from, like I used to work at a TGI Fridays in District Heights, and it's a good store. Some good people there, but majority of the people that go there to eat, they're not too like pleasant. Like so it's like I'm used to going up to tables and having to be cautious about what I say, having to be cautious about whatever, just having to be like super aware. And then so coming into serving, I kind of go to all my tables with that same mentality. And it's like when I went to you guys, it was like I didn't feel like that. Like you all were just everyone that was at the table, I hope they're listening. You all were like a breath of fresh air, like seriously, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And everything was fine. Like I don't know how to explain it. And then after, I know you remember what happened after. I'm just getting off work. I think you guys were like one of my last tables too. So you guys were gone for like probably like 30, 45 minutes. I'm getting off and I'm like, something told me, I don't know what it was, but something told me, instead of calling your Uber in front of the restaurant, why don't you walk around the block and then call it? I don't know why, but I just followed my intuition. So I did. And as soon as I walked around the block, I see you and two other people. And I'm just like, whoa. You guys were like, Ronnie, hey, what's up, guys? And then you guys were like, we're about to go worship. And then I think that's when I told you my political views.
Yeah.
And you all were like shocked. You guys were like, are you serious? Like
Word.
because we're not supposed to talk politics at work, so
Yeah.
I kind of just let you guys just do you. And then you guys, when I told you my political views, you guys were like, nah, this can't be true. So you guys took the courage to invite a stranger to catch an Uber with you guys to go worship. And I was just like, I'm so down. Like, this is why I was supposed to cut this corner, was to meet you all. So
Wow.
that's pretty much my side of the story. And I had a good time that night, even if it was for like, I think we only spent like 15 minutes together.
It wasn't that long, bro. It
But
was wild.
it was, to me, it was more than enough,
It felt like a few hours, right?
Yeah, it
But it
did.
wasn't that long. Dang.
Yeah,
Wow.
you all were pretty dope, man. And that's another thing too. Like this whole journey, the people that I've met, oh my, because you all aren't the only ones. Like there's a bunch of people that I've met, and it's like, you know, you go through this year, in the beginning of this year, when I started like, and we'll get into the politics things a little bit later, but when I started, seeing politics different and stuff,
Yeah.
I started feeling alone, very alone, because
Okay.
my friends don't see it the same way. So I'm just like, and then, I haven't met people yet. So it's like, I'm feeling alone. Like I have no one to talk to. Am I crazy? I start asking myself, am I crazy? Am I, tripping out? Is there something wrong with me? And then when you meet people who are like, no, you're not crazy. Like, I agree with you 100%. It's like, it takes a huge weight off my shoulders. So,
Yeah, that was awesome, man. Thank you so much for sharing that. It was like so. I just felt like sometimes when I'm doing something, I'm just following like wherever God wants me to go. Especially with the crew that we were with, like all of those people are amazing. We're all gonna have Thanksgiving together on what's today, Friday? Tomorrow, we're gonna have a Friendsgiving together, and I love them, man. Especially. you met a lot of them, but like, Josh has like been a really, really great friend to me for years. And it's funny because we're both actually from Montgomery, but we're from Montgomery County in New York.
Oh, I was about to say, like,
Yeah,
what part of
yeah,
Montgomery County are you
yeah,
from?
yeah. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? So, because I'm from upstate New York, and I moved to the city, New York City, in 2002. So, anyway, we met at Hillsong. We became great friends. We used to. This is funny, but like your heart for the homeless, like I have a heart for the homeless too. We used to serve together at Hillsong doing homeless outreach. I've been doing homeless outreach since like 2004, something like that. And and it's changed over the years how I do it. I wanted to be a lot more effective. I took over an abandoned building with my best friend, and we had people living with us off the streets. And then
Wow.
yeah, it was crazy. It's like when I think about it, I don't realize like how whoa that was. I was just I was just trying to show the world that these ideas can happen,
Yeah.
and now I'm older and I'm like, oh my God, we should have like gone about it a different way. But the good thing is that my friend, he went on to start a nonprofit called the Asbury Park Transformative Justice Project, helping people coming home from prison. And I went into pastoral like ministry, and I work in coffee shops and stuff, and I'm just a people person.
Yeah, me
And
too.
so I love that about like your heart, and like it was just really cool. Like you were I remember saying to you, like, you're a great waiter. I see you, being upper management, owning your own restaurant if that's what you desire, because you're already living your life like you own what you're doing. You know what I mean? And that's so important. Like that's just so rare to find. People tend to just do what they need to do to keep a job versus like putting their heart into it and like enjoying what they do.
Yeah, you have to, because like, I've been through a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, if I don't appreciate the little things, then
Mm,
the big things in life I won't learn to appreciate those either. So having a
mm,
job, like having my own room, being able to catch an Uber, you know what I'm saying, talking to strangers, you know what I'm saying? Like if I don't respect it, how can I expect anyone to respect me? Like quick example,
mm.
and I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus, but this is just, a quick little story. But one of the bartenders, I was asking her, do you get people to do reviews here? And she was just like, why would I ask people to do reviews? This place sucks. And in my head, I'm like, it sucks because you have that attitude. You know what I'm saying? But if you treated this place like if it was, even if it's not the best place, if you treated this building like if it was royalty, all of your guests will treat it the same way too. So when I asked you all, I mean, I was gonna give you guys good service anyways, but it was like I saw how you guys were like having a good time and stuff. I asked you guys if we could do a review, not just for me, but just for the restaurant's sake, so people who do look it up coming out of town and stuff, who look up our restaurant, they can see like, oh, there's some good reviews here. Like we might want to go there, because I want people to come and feel like it's good. I don't want people to come and the servers are thinking, oh, these people are coming here for what? Like, no, you should want to come here so we can make money and have people want to come back. That's the whole point of it. So I respect everything I do. I show love and gratitude to everyone because one day you're gonna
Yeah,
need that
yeah.
back.
One of the interesting things, and I think this is how we can kind of transition into how how you ended up, doing what you're doing now, is that you mentioned to me that that restaurant was like a Republican restaurant, like a
Yeah,
conservative. Yeah.
conservative.
I never heard it,
Hmm.
anything like that. Like it seemed like an interesting thing. Like you said that there was political themed like restaurants and stuff like in DC. So I thought that was interesting because that's the journey you've been on, is like going toward conservative. So I thought like maybe we
Yeah.
could shift now into how that happened. How would that happen? How's the Black Lives Matter activists start transitioning into conservatism? And if and does that mean that you like sold out or something? Because I don't believe that's what that means. I believe it
Yeah,
means like you started looking for real tangible facts, evidence, you know?
yeah. So, all right. So, first of all, it all starts with my
Mm,
religion. That's number one. Being a Buddhist, like I said, I'm all about peace. I'm all about karma. I'm all about, teach one, learn from one. I'm all about, us coming together. I'm not with the spewing violence or doing anything like that. So it starts with that, right? So I would say I just got into politics this year because last year I knew nothing about it. My life was I've been a Buddhist all my life, but I really started taking it serious about 3
okay.
years ago. So a lot of things in my life started changing, like a lot of how I view things, how I carry myself, who I am today. It's been 3 years that I've been this person. I'm just getting better and better every day. But when it came down to George
Mm,
Floyd dying, I felt like it was my responsibility. And remember, I hate Trump. I'm voting Democrat. I voted Obama. I voted Hillary. All that stuff. So I'm just going off of, black people are oppressed and we can't get jobs and women get paid less than men. And I'm thinking to myself, when I saw George Floyd died, I thought to myself, okay, this is my moment to help our people. You know what I'm saying? Because they're killing too much of us and da 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 da. So what can I do? So automatically I thought, you know what? We cannot fight fire with fire because I see a lot of people saying F the police, F 12, F the government, F all this stuff, F Trump. And it's like, I get where
mm-hmm.
that pain is coming from. But I tried to explain to my peers, we cannot go back with that same mentality. So I went out there and I
Mm,
started protesting. Started protesting. I had signs, all that stuff, and people were just not like. It was like I went out there. So the first time, it was all anger. I was like, "Yeah, let's loot, let's riot, let's do all of this stuff." And then I had another person from my religion tell me, "Ronnie, but that's not how Buddhist people do it."
okay.
Okay. So I was like, okay, you're right. So I'm going to go out there and protest again. But this time, I'm going to tell the police, thank you for, at least allowing us to protest peacefully. Thank you. Because I started realizing, like, they're killing us, quote unquote, but they could be killing us right now, for real, for real. This is the perfect time, if you ask me. Like, we're in their face screaming and all that stuff. Like, this is the perfect time. And since Trump is such a racist, he definitely wouldn't mind. You know
Mm,
what I'm saying? So
yeah.
uh I'm like, let's be peaceful to the police officers and all of that stuff. And the people around me were just not having it. They were like, how can you hug police officers? How can you be so nice to the police? They're racist. And I'm like, I see black police officers, I see Spanish police officers, Asian police. Like, are these guys racist
Right.
too? Like, are
Right.
they racist too, or are we just judging them based on the uniform, and are we just judging them based off of a police officer who made
Mm,
a bad
mm,
decision? Not all police officers are perfect, but you know, we can't blame one bad apple and say it's the
mm-hmm.
whole
Mm-hmm.
thing. You know what I'm saying? And then I started saying things like, us as black people, we should be applying to be police officers. We should be applying to be judges. We should be applying to be all these things. So I'm already coming up with these things in my head already without even doing no research. I'm just doing it myself.
Powerful. Powerful.
So, you know, I'm going out there protesting. And that was the second day. Now, the third day, I went out there and I said, I want to start my own business. And it was going to be called, I'm still going to do it, but I think I'm going to switch it up a little bit. But it was called Your Street Protection. And pretty much it was going to be an app where if you get pulled over by the police and you feel uncomfortable or scared, you hit the app and then it becomes a live stream to all the police stations of the country, and they can pretty much talk you through whatever you're about to go through while this police officer is dealing with you. But that's if you're scared,
Wow.
right?
Yep.
So I'm telling this to my friends, which I probably shouldn't have did, and they were just pretty much telling me how my idea was stupid. It's not gonna work. That's not gonna stop police from killing us. And I'm like, but the main, and this is before research. I'm like, guys, but the main thing is we got to learn how to work with the police. We can't always work against them. Just because you get pulled over, it doesn't mean you're getting pulled over because you're black. It doesn't mean you're getting pulled over because they think you're a thug or they're racist. Maybe there's something bigger going on that we don't know about. But if we comply, if we just, kind of like, I'm not saying, bow down to your knees and do what they say, but if they ask you simple things like license and registration, just do that. If they do simple things like tell you to step out the car, just do that. Like, we don't need to do the back and forth. Like, respect them as humans, because at the end of the day, they chose to do this job. People weren't trying to hear that. They weren't trying to hear that. All they wanted to hear was defund the police, abolish the police, end them. Police are racist. So I'm like, it was making me feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm on my own out here. So when I went and did the protest, I also realized that a lot of people weren't out there protesting for Black people. They were out there to just kind of mingle. They were out there to kind of just like meet girls. They were out there to just, like kind of just wear their fly outfit so people could see them. And then when the camera comes on, when you put the camera on, then they put they black fist up like they're doing something.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, I'm not doing this for the cameras, guys. Like, I'm doing this to start awareness, like, what are we doing, guys? So that's when I started feeling alone.
Wow.
So then I was like, you know what? Let me do my research. Let me actually start looking up some videos on YouTube and really start seeing the other side, like, let me see what the other side is saying. And I'm expecting them to say things like, yeah, we hate Black people and kill all Black people. And, immigrants can never come here. And I'm expecting Trump to say, yes, I'm President Trump and I hate Black people. And I'm expecting to hear all of that. And I was hearing the complete opposite.
Wow. What were you hearing?
Like,
wow.
I was hearing things like, so at first I ran into Candace Owens. She was
that catalyst too, bro. I went from hating her to like watch everything she writes.
Like, and I saw her video that she made for George Floyd.
That made me so pissed.
I had to watch it,
but I had to research it.
Exactly. I watched that video at least like 5 times, because the first time I watched it, I was like, no,
she didn't. No, she did not.
Yeah.
Who is this chick?
And then, but it's like in the back of your mind, it's like you think she's crazy, but it's like, okay, but I get that part. I get that part. So then I watch it again, and I'm like, okay, she's crazy, but she's making a lot of sense. And then I watch it again, and I'm like, you know what? This girl is speaking political justice, and we are ignoring her. And she's a Black woman. Like, why are we not putting her in the forefront to speak for us, to speak for Black people? Like, why are we not doing that? We're pretty much censoring her, shutting her out, calling her names. And there's no need for that when she's saying the same thing that people like Malcolm X were saying. She's saying the same thing like Dr. Umar Johnson is saying. Like, these Black activist people that we look up to, Candace Owens is speaking their language.
She's well,
but
and she's well versed. I'm sorry, bro. She's well versed.
No, go ahead.
I've one of the things about me too is I've dedicated my life to fighting racism and these kinds of things, and so I've read a lot and I've done a lot and I put my body out there, and the more I listened to her, the more I was like, wow, I gotta, I don't know, I gotta sit down with this. You know what I mean? I gotta sit down with this if I really do care about making some changes. Continue.
She is Candace. I seen her do one of her interviews, and she said, Candace, she said she's the mother that wants you to do good, and she's right. she is like that mother figure or big sister figure, little sister figure, however you want to look at her. But she is that black sister that's going to tell you, no, don't hang out with those guys. They're stupid. No, make sure you're doing your homework. No, make sure you're doing it. She's not the sister that's going to tell you, oh yeah, go ahead, do what you want and don't respect people. She's not that sister. And I think we all have, especially if you're black, you have a sister or a relative like that who is going to give it to you straight up and tell you
Yeah,
the truth
smack you
straight
right
up.
upside your head.
And it's not going to, when you're doing stupid. And she, watching her videos, she was literally smacking me upside of my
Facts.
head. Like, I
Facts. Me
felt
too.
it. And
I
I'm
was
like,
like, dang, I gotta shut up. And I'm a white dude.
yeah,
I'm a
like,
white
you
dude,
can't see.
anti-racist white dude. But like, man, I was like, Holy Spirit is hitting me right now.
Like, she was speaking the truth. And then, like, I started listening to guys like Brandon Tatum, ABL, King Face. I started listening to guys like Heavy Duty County, like all these guys, all these people who are literally trying to educate us. But then I noticed that they're being
Wow.
censored.
Yeah, man.
And then, this is the big one. I started watching Donald Trump's actual like videos. Like, I started watching his
Like
actual
speeches? Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I would see how they would twist his
Yeah.
words. Like, he would say one thing and they would just see. And then you also got to understand the man too. Donald Trump is pretty, in my opinion, he's the president of our culture. Like, our generation, like people who are like in their 30s and 20s and stuff, and even in their 40s too, like, he's our president because he's coming from our culture, our way of life, our way of thinking, our way of being. He is that, but he's just the president
Like
now.
break that down. That's
So,
interesting. What do you mean by that?
okay, so he's coming from a hip hop culture, whether you like it or not.
Wow.
He was with all the rappers. All the rappers wanted to be like him. He's taking pictures with our favorite rappers. Now, although I'm on a spiritual level now and I don't move this way, but yeah, there was a time and place where I wanted to be with all the hot chicks. I wanted to, sleep with all the girls. And, when he was young, that's what he was doing. And he was, he was opening up his own businesses. Although people were saying, oh, a lot of them failed, but you really can't judge that because he's putting himself out there. He's making it happen. And not everything is gonna be gold. Like, some things are gonna fail. Every successful person will tell you that their journey is a wave. It goes up, it goes down. You're gonna make some money, you're gonna lose some money. You're gonna make some more money, you're gonna lose some more money. Every successful person, every person that has a lot of wealth will tell you that. And if you've ever been through anything in life, then you understand that it's not gonna, just because you did something good, it's gonna be good forever. No, eventually it's gonna go down. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way of life. So we can't judge him for that. And then, like, I started watching his speeches and I started noticing how he really is speaking positivity though. And he's taking the negative out. Like, he's not giving you no BS. Like, it is what it is. This is what we're going to do. This is what I'm going to do as president. And this is what I need from you guys to do. And if you do this, then this will happen. And it's like, he's being straight up with you. Like, that's our culture. Our culture, if you listen to our rap music, even not even rap music, like just our pop culture all in general, that's how we are now. We're very straight up. We're very in your face. Internet is going crazy. Propaganda, like, that is Trump. Like, that is Trump. And you, like, I don't know why you wouldn't want to vote for someone who is a part of our culture. And then he becomes president, and then people start, in the lack of a better term, people start hating on him. They start hating on him. But then when you look at our favorite artists, our favorite rappers, and you look at how they got in the game, they came in the game being hated on. And then later on, they started being liked because they didn't let the hate get to them. Like, look at Soulja Boy, for example. When he came out with Crank That, everybody was hating on him. Oh, he's not going to make it. He's going to be a one-hit wonder and da-da-da-da-da-da. And now look at him. He's not as popular as he was now, but he had hits on top of hits, and he really changed, like, hip hop in a lot of ways. Look at Kanye. You know, he came in the game and he was hated on by not black people, but you know, by a certain ethnic group of people. He was hated on a little bit because he went and said George Bush doesn't
Oh
like
man,
black
that
people.
was amazing. I was like, dang, this
So
dude is
he,
bold.
yeah, he's bold, and he took a lot of heat for that. He took a lot of heat for that, and then he did the Taylor Swift thing. Oh, Beyonce had the album of the year. He's very
Yeah.
outspoken, so he took a lot of heat for that. But we also loved and
Yo,
respected
can
him
I be real with you?
because
So when
absolutely,
he did that, I was so this this is just kind of saying like my change, my shift. When he did that, I was
mm-hmm.
so happy because I felt like he took the mic from white America, and he's like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna let you finish. You've had 400 years, but this woman over here, this Beyonce, this is the greatest thing of the whole year, if not, period. But I'm gonna give the mic back to you, white America. But
yeah,
and like a lot of
and,
people got mad at me for saying that, but I was just like, listen, man, it's not a
yeah,
disrespect to Taylor Swift. I know it was like her moment or whatever, but like all of these things are power plays that help with stardom. But I felt like honestly, it was like because Kanye's aware, man. Like he's aware,
he
and
is.
so when he did that, I was like, white America's not going like that. They're not going like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought it was funny because when he did that, I was like, he did what? I was working at a restaurant and
Yeah.
we had a packed house. And they were like, yo, Kanye just took the mic from Taylor. I was like, yeah, what's up? I was like, yo, drinks on me. You know what I mean?
He's the reason. Kanye is the reason why MTV shows and award shows don't do live no more.
Wow.
It's
Oh,
pre-recorded
snap.
now.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't do that
Wow.
no more. Like now they'll record it and then they'll air it like 2 days
Wow.
later.
Dang. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say too, like for me, I really enjoyed hearing you and you sharing. Some of what I was gonna share too is that part of what shifted for me is when I was a radical, and I was like really searching for change, and in a lot of ways, sometimes like that's still a part of me. I always thought about foreign policy. I always thought about like what's going on? Like, how are these policies going to affect other countries? How are they going to affect America? And one of the things that I thought was really interesting is that I'm trying to figure out how to edit video so that I can post this video that I made when Trump first got elected and like who I was then, and then like where I'm at now. Now, I'm not saying to all my listeners, like, I'm just like, hands down, like everything about him is amazing. I'm just saying, like his policies and certain things, like we got to like look beyond our feelings. And I'm just saying that as a white person, everyone's on their own
Yeah.
journey, but I'm just saying, like, for me, like when I looked at his policies, I was like, wow, like he was against the NAFTA agreement, he was against these different free trade agreements that radicals were against, and that he brought jobs back to America, like that black unemployment is at all-time low, that there is actually wealth being generated.
Can we talk
bro,
about
go
that real
into
quick?
it, bro.
Because a lot of people say that Obama, that started with Obama. The black unemployment started with Obama, and you know what? I'll give you that, and that is fact. But it takes away, it deletes the fact of him being a racist. Because if he's such a racist, don't you think that he would try to stop that in some type of way? Don't you think that he would try to do something to be like, whoa, black unemployment is getting better? Like, no, let's see what we can do to shift that so white America could shine again. No, he didn't do that. He said, okay, it's getting better. Let's make it get better, because he's thinking as a businessman. This man is coming to the country, coming in as a president, thinking like a business. And I know some people don't like that, but at the end of the day, if you've ever had your own business, or if you've ever worked and actually appreciated your job, when you do things in a constructive way, it always moves better.
Yes.
No matter what. Like, if you have a job and you have to have a manager, you have to have a boss, you have to have a CEO, you have to have workers, even down to the janitor. everybody plays a role. And if you're just expecting one person to do everything, then we're not working together,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Yeah, bro. Yeah. It's like,
yeah.
dang, that's good. It's like a moment of silence. And now time for our sponsors. No, but you know what I mean? But
Nah,
it's real.
seriously
It's
though, like,
real.
and I see how like the media was like attacking Trump. They were really attacking him. Like, I understand why people don't like him. It's because if you're listening to the media, yes, you know, and there are some people who have their
Bro,
reasons who don't listen to the media
the
why they don't
media
like him.
is so biased now. And like it took me a while
Ah,
to peep
man.
it, right? Because like I remember in 2016, I was like, oh, like Van Jones, but it seemed to me like it was predominantly conservative because I don't think anyone in the land thought that Trump would win. You know what I mean? So when he
Mm-hmm.
won and Van Jones was like, this is a white lash, it I felt like it started this shift. And when I looked at all of the election stuff, even now, right? It's like, bro, Trump was nominated for 2 Nobel Peace Prizes. You know what I mean?
Man.
It was amazing because like looking at the different media outlets, it was like all like somewhat like liberal or like left leaning centrists, and then like the
Yeah.
one white dude, like the homie from Pennsylvania, I think Santorum, right? And then it's like wait a minute, like how, like, I mean, I always had a critique about news and media outlets and stuff because I was more like I was kind of into conspiracies. I was a radical, so like I'm always like deconstructing Democrats, Republicans, no matter what, because I was like all about deconstructing capitalism and America and all this stuff. I was with Dead Prez. You know what I mean? Like I was like on it. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, as a white dude, that's the way we need to be. And it's like it's like they would say, it's like we want freedom. So it's like if I believe in freedom, like, I'm like, all right, cool, let me know, stick man. You know what I mean? And then,
Yeah.
but what I realized is when I started to go into business and I started to think that way, and I
Mm-hmm.
started to realize that God has called me to be an entrepreneur, that He has called me to pioneer, to pioneer not just in business, but to pioneer in fatherhood, to pioneer as a son, to pioneer as a dad and a husband in the future, to be the first, to go where I haven't gone before. I started to shift my mind and I started to think like, wow, biblical principles line up with some of this ideas. And
Yeah,
yeah,
conservative.
and I
Yeah.
started to look into it more and more, and I was like, wow, I was I was like, dang, like I can't just be like typecasting people and just be like, yo, you're a racist because of this. I have to spend time
Yeah.
with you. And when I spent time with conservatives and I spent time with people, I was like, dang, wow, like you really care about this country. You really care about people too. And
Yeah.
and I was
Me
like, man, I
too.
just want to spend time with you. I wanna learn
Mm-hmm.
from voices and people that I haven't really spent time with. And that's
Like, you realize that conservatives are so like their spirits are up. When you're a conservative, you're happy. Like, you wake up with a purpose, and I'm not saying this is all of
yeah,
the
I mean,
left,
there's
but
left people that are cool too, but yeah.
there's some leftists that they wake up and they're just mad. Like, they're just like, oh my God, I'm waking up again. Oh, and it's like, you don't have to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
What do
I
you
don't
think?
know.
What do you
It's
think
just,
about I've been watching a lot of Charlie Kirk too, and
that's my
I
guy.
love Charlie Kirk, and he's kind of like inspired me to kind of go in this position, and sort of like I love that he tells it straight, and I value that, and I want to see that grow in me too, but it's like, because I have all kinds of friends, and I come from different places, but like when I think about, uh, you know, oh man, I forgot what we were talking about. But
You said
oh
Charlie Kirk, he
yeah,
inspires you.
yeah. So I just think about how there's like there's a I think there's a correlation with when I was more of a leftist, that, and I identified that way, that I tended to wake up always aware of oppression, always aware of blaming government or doing something like that. And when I started to take responsibility for myself, and I started to think about my budget, started to think about, how to build a business, how to do certain things, uh, being around people that are very you know, have self-awareness, it started shifting, and I started to think like, wait a minute, what if Thomas Sowell is correct? Because people were pointing
Mm-hmm.
me to him, and I was like, yo, like, all right, this is a black guy, you know what I mean? Like, my prayer has been like, okay, God, like, you need to show me people of color that are not like Uncle Tom's, but like are really, you know what I mean, trying to learn. And I know saying that term is probably not cool either, but let's be
Yeah.
real, you know what I mean?
But I get it. Yeah, I
And
get it. I
and
get it.
um and so when I started looking into these economic policies, and I started looking into what Candace Owens was saying about the top, and about supply side economics and these kinds of things, I started to realize, I was like, wow, you're right. The left will just leave. Like, rich left people will leave these states where the taxes are higher, and will be forced to fit the bill, but or like lower, something like that. But like cutting taxes and increasing invention and creating like gross, or like, business or whatever, actually ends up like that, that somehow, like, Friedman talked about this in economics, Candace Owens talks about it, but like we end up not actually feeling it as much as if we would with high taxes, because those rich wealthy people can leave or put their stuff in offshore accounts and different things like that.
Yeah.
And when I started really looking into these things, I was like, okay, now what about the welfare state? Okay, cool. So like, all right, so business makes sense, right? For instance, healthcare, right? We say healthcare is so crazy, but with a free market, there's room for you to create an alternative to the healthcare system,
Yeah.
because now there's options and choice, the marketplace. And then on top of that, I was like, well, what about the welfare state? Because I've always been someone that fought for people to have access to things, and to fight for, thinking like welfare is like a way of like helping the most in need and underprivileged.
Mm-hmm.
And when I realized that, I was like, you know what? I'm against abortion, but
Me
but
too.
if I'm going to be against abortion, then like Chris Christie said, and this is one of the good things he said, despite like some of his hurdles and failures, he said, we're going to support them from the womb to the tomb. So that means we're going to help these communities. We're going to help these women, help these men to be fathers, and and um and actually like set in place the hope, so that if a person does want to keep their child, they can with full faith. And at the same time, also, that is predominantly to destroy black folks. Like Candace Owens was talking about that. And I was like,
Yeah.
dang.
It's a way to keep us down. It's a way to keep us, because if you, okay, so the way I look at it as, if you're down and I know that I can expose your fears, if I just feed your fears, you'll always come to me. You'll never want to seek to get it yourself.
Yeah.
You'll always come to me because you're scared and you feel like I can save your
Mm-hmm.
fears. But if I can keep you in that state, then I got you
Mm.
forever. But if you realize that you can do it on your own, once you realize that what I'm giving you, you can give it to yourself, you don't need me no more.
Wow. Wow.
And that's the Democratic Party.
Wow. Dang. But you know what's funny is that what I like though is that even though, say like Trump, honestly, Trump is an independent, and so was Bernie Sanders, but like Trump is an independent. And when we were at our worst in the country, of course, we leaned on federal government to help us, right? But after you get the help from the federal government, there needs to be, more education on self-responsibility and fiscal responsibility as an individual. And when you do that, you're empowered, and you can create, and you can change your actual outcome. Now, I know that in certain circumstances there's abject poverty, there's like horrible situations, of course, right? And some of that is historic and we're making changes, right? But if we were to send, I think, missionaries and initiatives and programming into empowering people to transform their hustle or become entrepreneurs themselves, and get them to believe that, then I think that they would realize that the best thing about welfare, and I've been on welfare a couple times, is that when I realize that this is just to help me get on my feet, and then hopefully I'll have a job and I'll be able to make do without it, because pretty much if I get a job, I make more than I need for welfare anyway. And if not, then I could apply for food stamps or something like that, but I don't necessarily need the cash assistance. You know what I mean? And then like before you know it, you like grow out of that. If you have higher education, it's like guaranteed that you're going to leave poverty. You know what I mean? And but I don't think that there's enough emphasis on that. Like I never really spent time learning about economics. I felt like that was a sector that wasn't for me. I'm an artist, you know?
Yeah.
And so I hope that regardless of what happens, I pray that people will continue to push into this more and more, that it wouldn't just be this moment, you know, but that this would be sort of a catalyst into all of us taking more responsibility for ourselves,
Yeah.
you know?
The whole thing about being, well, what I've realized about being an American, when they say that we're free, they actually mean that. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing about being free, it doesn't mean like we're free to do whatever we want, but you know, you're free in a sense of like you can create your own destiny. Like you can create how you want your life to be. The whole American dream thing that people talk about, and I say that with quotation marks, but the whole American dream is that's the American dream. Is to be able to just is to own things, build things, you know what I'm saying? Like, build connections with people, start a family, you know what I'm saying, raise them properly. Like
Yeah.
that's the whole American dream. People and then I gotta say, a lot of black people think that the American dream is just a white person's thing. Like
Mm.
I remember when I was telling my friends about, you know, wealth and, how to respect one another and come together, because they're like, oh, we need to move back to Africa and stuff. And I'm like, no, we don't need to move to Africa. We need to stay here in America and respect everyone that's living here. And they used to tell me that you sound like you want to be like the white man. And I used to get so offended when they said that, because it's like, what is that? Being like the white man, explain to me what that is. Does it mean that I get to have a good job? Does it mean that I'm staying out of jail? Does it mean that I'm not killing people? Does it mean that I'm, actually respecting women? You know what I'm saying? Is that what it's like to be like the white man? Because if that's the case, then I mean, I guess, I'm not gonna agree that I'm trying to be like the white man, because I can only be like Ronnie. I don't want to be like the black man or the white man. I want to be like Ronnie. That's who I want to be. And
Yeah, man.
it's a mindset that we're put under, that from young, that we were put under. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us didn't have fathers at home. A lot of us.
Yeah.
And that comes from years. And guess what? That father didn't have a father at home. And his father didn't have a father at home.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to having kids, it's more like, and now I'm older now. I see some of my friends having kids, and the way they think is like, all right, well, my girl, she got the kid today, so that means I get to party all weekend. She holding the kids this weekend, so I'm gonna go clubbing to get away. Nah, that's not fatherhood. You know what I'm saying? Every living moment, you got to spend it with that child, because that child is looking to you. If that child don't see you, especially at a young age, that child is going to be influenced by other people. You know what I'm saying? And
Wow.
I don't know, like,
That was real good.
the streets are raising us. The streets are literally raising us. And that's why we're scared of the police, because the police are protecting the streets. And, the streets are raising us. That's why we're not really respecting our women, because our mothers aren't there all the time to tell us how to treat a lady, because she hasn't been treated right. You know what I'm saying? Like, It's like we black people, we go through a lot. So I understand, and I don't ever knock black people whenever they knock me for voting Trump. Because a lot
Mm.
of black people are like, "Oh, you're this and you're that. You're a racist. You're an Uncle Tom. You're a coon." I never go back and forth with them
Mm.
because I understand where that pain is coming from. I understand the fear, but I want to show you that no, there is another look. Look, I already did it. I broke the barrier. You know what I'm saying? Your fears, I just broke it. If you were scared to think for yourself, this is what it looked like. So watch me take all these bullets. Watch me take all the heat for daring to be different. And
Dang, bro.
eventually
Ooh.
you will see. You will see the truth eventually. And I'm gonna be already on the other side. Because if you start going back and forth with them and arguing with them and calling them names back, you fall right into the agenda. They want to
Yeah.
see. You know, one thing me and my friend we laugh about places like Chicago, places like Southeast DC, places like all the rough black areas that are
Mm.
really run by Democrats. Do you know that that is the KKK's wet dream, son?
Wow.
we
Wow.
we always make that joke because it's just like they're literally sitting back and watching us kill each other at a faster rate than the KKK could ever do it. And they are sitting there look if they're well they're definitely are KKK members, but they're looking at us like wow, like we don't have to do anything now. We can literally just sit back and just drink coffee and drink beer and watch black people kill each other.
Mm. Mm.
So once we wake up and realize that this is the I don't want to say this is the leftist agenda,
Mm.
but it's definitely somebody's agenda
Mm.
to knock us off. You know what I'm saying? That's why they attack our schools because it starts from the youth. You know,
Yeah.
once you can get the youth to think that he can't be himself, he's gonna grow up always thinking that. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And I used to be a huge fan of like I love women. I used to be a huge like I want to chase girls and I want a bad jump. I want a pretty girl, big butt, you know, big breasts. I wanted all of that. And then I realized that that right there was also an agenda to destroy our women, to make them feel like you can't be beautiful if you be yourself. You have the all of these girls, they look alike now. If you haven't noticed, they all look the same. Long hair, makeup, big butt, big breasts. And it's just
Mm.
like, okay, like when are we I just want a normal girl. I just want a girl who just is herself. I don't care about her physical anymore. I want her mental. And
Mm.
I don't know, it starts from young. Like why are we putting people like Cardi B on the why is she woman of the year? Why isn't it people like Candace Owens?
Mm.
Candace Owens come out in a little ponytail, light makeup, she's wearing a suit. To me, she is beautiful.
Mm.
And it's not really how she looks, it's what comes out of her mouth. And then when I
Mm.
hear people like Cardi B, she physically she is every man's dream, right?
Mm.
But then when you get with her, because I've been with girls who look kind of like Cardi B, like when you actually get with her and experience her, it's like hell.
Mm.
You know, I don't think that if I was dating Candace Owens, I don't think I'd be going through hell. I think she would respect me as a man. We need more Candace Owens out here.
Wow. Powerful statement, bro. Powerful statement. So, yeah, so what do you think is next? And then that's how we'll wrap it up. What do you think is next? What's next for you? What do you think about these elections and stuff? Or like, how do you think we can empower each other to do that? You know what I mean? Like, because I think that there's still a lot of people that it took me some months, but I think that there's still like a lot of people that when they hear like a Candace Owens or something like that, like they're still like sensitive to her.
Yeah,
They're hurt by her. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because a a lot of like woke, to me, woke culture or is 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 so is we're really in our emotions. We're really in our emotions,
yeah,
and we can't get past our pain. And it's not fair to say that they should just get past their pain, because people who are wounded need time to recover
yeah,
before they can like forgive or do any of that. And so like I'm I'm not in a position to tell people of color or anything to do that. My job is to just educate, to love God, and like hopefully help. My hope is to like help more white folks and like love people, and also like tell the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But understand my role and stuff. But I think that you're right a lot. I think that what Candace Owens says is controversial, but I can't help but like agree with her so much. And it's not like gay hating. It's not like all these things. It's that like if your values are a certain way, then it makes sense that your belief process and what you want to see is going to go with those morals. And but the other part too is that Thomas Sowell talks about how to keep a healthy economy or a healthy country is to like get education,
yes.
whatever, have a family.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's it. Like he was like, build your family, have education, you know what I mean? Like have a business, but take care of that, and that will take care of the community. Because when you're taking care of your family, you're concerned about your kids, you're concerned about other people's kids, and like, you know what I mean? Because like they're gonna go play dates and like all these different things, and at the same time too, like you're working, so you're saving,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what I mean? And it seems so simplistic, but I can't help but feel like the family dynamic and fatherlessness and these kinds of things are clearly a reason. And now we could definitely say about the historical context of injustice and those kinds of things. But I'm just thinking right now we have an opportunity to be sons, to be fathers, to be husbands, and to really show up and
each
be
one
great.
teach one.
Exactly. And if someone's falling behind, pull them up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, man, I just really appreciate you, just taking the time to be on Who Dares Wins. I really feel like you expressed exactly what the heart of this podcast is, and that is to encourage people to think outside the box, to challenge themselves to think a different way,
mm-hmm.
and to face their fears, because we have nothing to lose but our fear.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So, thanks again, man. I'm good on that, man. We can talk offline now, but I just want to say thank you again for being on the show. And if there's anything that you want to plug, or like I don't know, personally, you were talking about that app. I know you're into hip hop. I don't know if you got bars or whatever, but your Instagram, whatever you want to do.
Right now,
you can post, you can blurb it.
Right now, because you asked me the question on what's the future.
Yeah.
So the future for me is to just spread love. That's the first one. We all have to spread love, no matter what. It doesn't matter if someone is like literally hating you in your face. You have to beat that back with love. I know it's hard for a lot of people to do. Trust me, I get it. But you got to train yourself to love no matter what. Because once you realize that each person out here, black, white, Chinese, whatever, we're all dealing with our own demons and our own trauma. And sometimes it comes out in a negative way. Once you realize that people are dealing with things like that, you have you're a little bit more empathetic to people. So I just spread love no matter what. I don't talk hatred. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I slip up too, because I'm also dealing with my own trauma and demons. But majority of the time, most of the time, I would say about a good 97% of the time, I am trying to spread love and let people know that I love them regardless. So what I do is I have my own little podcast. It's not a podcast, but I have a Zoom call that I do every Wednesday. It's called One Human Race, and it's pretty much a spot where no matter what your religious belief is, your political belief is, no matter what you like, whatever who you are, it's a space where everyone could come together and just talk.
Nice,
it's like one big therapy session. So, please follow me on Instagram, Ron J Spike. I'm very personable. I talk to almost anyone. I don't care what you believe in or whatever. Like, I just want to talk to you, ask you how your day is, and we can just start from there. And yeah, that's my little plug right there.
Dope, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, man, we'll be in touch.
Nah, you already know,
Love you,
man.
bro.
Love you too, man. And I appreciate what you do, man. Keep doing this because people need stuff like this, bro. For real.
Yeah, man. Thank you,
I'm about
bro.
to go eat lunch. I'm starving.
Yeah, me too, bro. I gotta make some food.
Right? All right, man.
Yeah. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to that episode. I hope you enjoyed Ronnie's testimony, Ronnie's story, and hearing a little more about his journey. If you were interested in what Ronnie's up to, um he's got an event lined up coming on December 12th at 8 p.m. in DC. So you can hit him up on at Ron J Spike on Instagram. I'll have that in the you can look at that in the info for the episode. And yeah, the tickets are $25 to take the bus to get to where he's at. Take the bus from Lafayette Plaza to his location. Um yeah, he's in like the DMV section of Maryland, I believe. But anyway, just wanted you guys to know that Ron J has an event coming up on the 12th. It's a MAGA March bonfire. I know like some of y'all are like, what? A MAGA MAGA. Well, if you listen to the episode, then you heard that this amazing man who is a Trump supporter, um, is an amazing man. And we had a great conversation. And I felt like we had a lot actually in common. And we came to a lot of agreements together, which is amazing because that is what it means to be with Jesus. To walk with Jesus means to be open to how he's moving and not being aligned to a political party or anything like that. Like just Jesus. And through Jesus, we love people. So if you guys were interested in that, like you loved hearing more about that and you're in the DC, Maryland, Virginia region, um yeah, man, you can hit him up at Ron J Spike on Instagram or hit me up at JP is lavish on Instagram, or at Who Dares Wins podcast on Instagram. It's gonna be in the info, and you can yeah, check it out. December 12th at 8 p.m. Once again, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I appreciate you having an open mind and hearing um, diverse opinions, because that's what this is all about. It's who dares wins. I dare you, I dare me to have an open mind and look at it another perspective, face our fear. We have nothing to lose but our fear. And I just want to close in prayer. Father, thank you so much for everyone who listens to this episode. I pray, God, that if what they heard resonates with what's going on in their spirit, um, that they would not be afraid or shamed to admit that they actually might agree with what Ronnie was saying, but for fear of culture or fear of not being cool or fear of um 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 being seen a certain way, God, in the midst of like cancel culture, God, that they would feel freedom to be themselves. They would be free to allow themselves to change, allow themselves to mature and to adapt and to grow and to hear from various opinions and to come up with their own informed conclusions. God, I pray that they would feel your love and feel your spirit, and if they don't know you, that they would just ask you into their lives and just say, Jesus, be with me, help me. I want to know you more. And I pray that you would just continue to meet them where they're at, and speak to them through your word, through podcasts like this, um, or other avenues, Lord God, that speak to them. Thank you so much, God. I pray this in Jesus' name. Thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned for more episodes of Who Dares Wins. Love you guys. See you next time.